And what's cracking, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. Can I get a voice check, an audio check? How's it going, Michael B? You're the first one in here. Just let us know if the audio is a-okay. How's it going, Dan? Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. That's how it's done, Krisha.
Okay, my bad. Look who's got the radio voice now.
Oh my God, it's Vishal. Vishal's in here.
How's it going, Vishal? Been a while. Been a minute. How's it going, Wolvie?
You guys can hear me, right?
Okay, let's, okay, nice. Okay, so the audio's good. Okay, brilliant. I'm just gonna quickly sort of,
Top of the morning.
I'm gonna, like, there's no mango intro today, but hey, you know what? You got both of us today, and we're enough for the mango intro. So I'm gonna get on, right on over to the charts. Let's go. And how's it going, you guys? Sean, you're live on screen. How handsome is he looking with all those curls? By the way, guys, tomorrow's Sean's birthday. Mr. Mango's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sean. Do you guys love how the market reverses on the 12-hour candle right before my birthday? Say, perfect. I mean, we don't want to call it a reversal just yet, but we're almost there.
Michelle's like, thank God it's not Krisha's birthday.
I know, right? Jesus Christ.
It's the worst. It's like just, bad luck. But hey, you know what? You gotta look at it with like a good lens. Like if you're looking at it, through a different lens, it's very easy to know what's coming in the month of March. That way, hey, you know what? You guys get to prepare ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's massive edge, right? We've been watching it for like 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years, and we played it last year, but we were like joking about it, amused about it. This time around, we actually took it seriously on both ends, like the March play as well as the September play. And it's hilarious how it plays out. Again, just a coincidence, guys. I lined up with Krisha's birthday and my birthday. Huge coincidence that Krisha's birthday and my birthday is exactly almost 6 months apart. But the key
Pretty much
takeaway
6 months though.
since 2019 was, I think, our biggest call, our biggest realization was, while the rest of the community, I mean, like, the crypto community has been looking at this 4-year cycle, which has been correct to do so, the more actionable play was to play 6-month cycles in terms of your mindset, in terms of a trader, in terms of an investor. Allows you to position aggressively, take profits at the end of the 6-month cycle, and then reposition towards the downside. Right? That is how I think we should continue doing so moving forward as well for the years to come.
And that's the thing. For those of you who've been with Mango throughout much of the cycle, you guys know that Sean's been calling the 6-month cycle now for, well, since the beginning of the cycle. I remember when even Bitcoin was sitting at around 18,000. You're just like, Krisha, I think this time around we're gonna have like these bursts. That's what he called it. He called it bursts of price action. And that's pretty much what we've seen sort of all cycle, right? And that's where it sort of caught people off guard. Now, even though he told me about it, like, and also the community, we didn't think it play out like so neatly, in that we see this burst of price action, freaking 6-month consolidation, burst 6-month consolidation. But this is like the first time, I think, from all the other cycles that we've actually seen price action like this. Now, it's actually pretty neat. But Sean, what are your now, like, look at the charts right now. Bitcoin is taking, wow, that's quite the price action we got in the past few minutes, right? This entire candle right now, I mean, it's just a 2%
Yeah,
on that ball.
Yeah, you can't. This is all expected. We talked about it on the Discord too this morning. We are doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think so the way we're sort of gonna like this is just gonna be free flow TA right now, talking about the markets as well as well where basically our thesis on what could be very well playing out here. Now, based on Sean, your 6-month cycle, if I had to ask you right now, do you see this bull market continuing, or how are you viewing the market at this current stage?
Do I see this bull market continuing? Yeah, like, okay, so the reason I'm a bit reticent on answering that question with absolute conviction is because I don't want anyone in our community, at the very least, to think about things in binary terms, right? We are kind of at that zone where it's best to think about things through a spectrum. And as long as we are holding all of our key levels, the bull market is on. There's no reason to think otherwise. And as long as from this juncture, especially at this timing, okay, we do see the reversal that I want to see, not that I don't want to say I am expecting to see, okay? It's a completely different mindset as a trader versus a forecaster. As a trader, like, okay, if I want to remain bullish for our bigger targets, I want to see X, Y, Z. And we're beginning to see the initial remnants of that, right? As long as we continue to see that, I think this bull market is completely fine. But again, going back to the conversations we've been having for the past few weeks, stick to the coins that are showing strength, okay? And it's been, those coins are screaming at us, right? We know, just looking at Bitcoin dominance too, what we need to do. It's simple. This we just, how about this, guys? Don't stick to the plan. There's no reason to change anything just yet.
And I agree. And this goes back to something that you mentioned in yesterday's Seed Mastermind call. And this is something that I really want to bring up here. You were actually giving, like, in terms of viewpoints, right? I think one of the seedlings had asked you a question in terms of viewpoints, and you told him as to, even for your views, like if you have like a thesis, a hypothesis of, well, the market, or a market playing out in a certain direction, you mentioned that you should also have an invalidation on your thesis.
Yeah.
Right. Could you like elaborate on that? Because I think that's very important, because all of us right now, guys, everyone's trying to figure out, is it bull market, bear market, bull market, bear market? You're looking at a bunch of freaking charts. We all are right now. Right. But it's not like, even that is your view. That is your hypothesis on the market. Right. So I think, to Sean's point, Sean, could you elaborate on that? Because I think that's very, very important, what you mentioned there. And I wanted to really bring it up in this live. That way, even they get the nuggets right here.
Yeah, again, that ties really well into, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share my screen, Krishna. Let me just click present.
Yeah.
So I can give you guys an example. And again, if you guys watched my most recent, do I get to pick the screen? I think I do. Okay. Sure. All right. So yeah, today. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So if you can show my screen, Krisha, I'd be. Again, this is just like an example.
There we go.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you. So
gotta love this.
So in yesterday's Seed Clubhouse session, I just went around the room and I asked folk for their opinion on where the market sits at the moment. And remember, there's no right or wrong opinion. Okay. And one of the seedlings expressed an opinion, and it was a right opinion. I don't say right. It was an opinion, because there's no right or wrong opinion. But when you have high conviction, especially when you have high conviction, it's very, very important to also have an invalidation on that conviction embedded into your viewpoint, right? So a good example of how Mox expressed his opinion was, I'm going to remain bearish until I see price above 117,000 because XYZ reasons, right? So you name your XYZ reasons for why you're bearish, by all means do that. But at what point are you flipping? I'm going to be wrong about $170,000, right? That mindset is so important. And that's what separates a actual trader and a forecaster, because that in itself is you telling yourself that I am okay being wrong, because once I'm wrong, I can make money towards the other direction. And that's what your job is, guys. You have to really, really understand that you want to make money first and not be right first. Once you get stuck into that mindset of I want to be right, I want to be right, I want to be right, it starts. It first comes out in the vocabulary that you pick, the way you articulate your opinion, the way you articulate your view. You always need to be expressing when you are wrong on your views, right? So in my most recent daily videos on Bitcoin, now everyone knows that we flip bearish short to midterm on around $116,000 to $118,000 on Bitcoin. And my recent daily video on Bitcoin, I said, hey guys, we're going to continue sticking to the plan, right? And we're going to look for Bitcoin to hit the bi-weekly dynamic somewhere around 100,000 to 97,000, somewhere around here, right? But I may be wrong. And under what conditions will I look for me to be wrong? Because we may see Bitcoin go sideways and then see that move to the upside, right? So like this or something like that. Now, we use the 2-day Kijun as our invalidation. I said, if we see at least 2, I'd like to see more candles above the 2-day Kijun, then we need to start entertaining the idea that Bitcoin may reverse right here. And that lines up with our thesis from like months ago and even recently, that around my birthday, we need to be looking for that bottom, right? So everything coming together, if you mark around here as the line, and then you go ahead and draw in a zone, because we don't want to time things too perfectly, guys, right? You go like a few days prior to the level and somewhere around here. Oops. Okay. So price could put in a low anywhere within the zone. Now you don't know, or rather we don't know whether it may be right here, it's already played out, or we may come down and push in for that final push into the bi-weekly dynamic and then reverse. We just don't know. And as a trader, you don't need to know. Your job is one thing and one thing only: be prepared mentally to take advantage of what the market gives you. You're not trying to be right, you're trying to make money, right? So having that invalidation on, hey, the market's going to dump immediately, allows me to say, okay, hey, I'm seeing multiple candles about the 2-day Kijun. I may not get that move down to $100,000. I'm not going to brainwash myself into wanting that and only that, especially when I am seeing other coins show so much strength and I want to be part of those moves. I'm not going to be hell-bent and stubborn on Bitcoin needs to come down first before I get into those coins. No. I can be bullish and bearish at the same time. It's a spectrum, and you need to be able to adapt as a trader, because you got to put on your positions. You don't want the markets to bounce without you, right? I've seen so many of your top YouTube traders, guys, get wrecked during the 3K region because they were so hell-bent that Bitcoin is going to go down to 1900. They got obsessed with being right, as opposed to saying, no, I want to just make money, right? So at $3,000, even though Bitcoin was showing all the signs of a bottoming, people were choosing to ignore it, right? We don't want to make the same mistakes. So again, we don't know what's going to happen, and that's the point.
And I love that. I think there's a good lesson in there, guys. Make sure you have your invalidations as well. Even for your convictions, you should have your invalidations. Good stuff. Sean, this frigging price action. Oh my goodness. Is this happening with the alts as well? We'll be going over some charts right now. I'm going to add, Sean, do you want to present anything on your chart?
I mean,
or should I just jump onto mine?
We can talk about this setup that I posted on the Discord this morning, if that's up to you guys.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it. I think this was a good setup that Sean posted. It's a good observation that he made on Bitcoin's 4-hour time frame based on the Ichimoku cloud. So go ahead, tell him, give him the alpha.
So I'll try to do you have the? I'll try to like just keep it ready. Okay, so right here. I'm gonna post it here so that way you guys can. Oops, that's not it. That's the man. Copy. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, so earlier this morning, price looked like this, right? And this kind of setup where you guys see the cloud in this structure with the Tenkin Kijun, just crossing, it's really, really important to keep an eye on it. Not because you're looking for a massive pump, okay, but because, and I've seen this several times in the past, like hundreds of times, where the market will put in this structure, signaling the probable initial signs of a rounding formation. Okay, now that's really, really important. What are we looking for? I'm going to go back to the chart now, and what we're looking for over here is this initial pump into the cloud. Doesn't need to penetrate the cloud. It could reject the top of the cloud, or rather the bottom of the cloud. But if you don't see the Tenkin Kijun, right, cross, which is what we have over here. Let's put that there. You see the Tenkin Kijun, the blue crossing over the red, right? If that's not happened yet, you don't want to trust that breakout. Okay, you want to expect that to come back down for a high low, maybe get support on the Tenkin Kijun. Doesn't matter. You're not looking for the TK to get defended if the TK is not crossed. You're just looking for high low within that structure. Okay. Then, if you see the blue cross over the Kijun and then price penetrate and then price start moving towards the cloud, it's very, very likely you see a move past these highs over here, putting in high and high low. That starts the initial formation of a rounded bottom, especially when you have this falling channel. So we have a falling channel onto higher time frame support, because right over here, guys, we have the weekly dynamic. I think we have some other key levels as well. And then you have the 4-hour falling channel onto that, 4-hour TK cross and into cloud. This doesn't mean that price is going to moon. That's not what it means. It tells you to start getting mentally ready for potential reversal. It could happen here. We could get defend on the Tenkin and we may make our way up. It doesn't matter. You just need to be ready for whatever your TA is telling you. It could be, for example, someone might be trading, hey, I think that price is coming down for one final tap into these lows at around 1.7 to fake everyone out, and then we reverse. Either way, you're looking for that rounding formation now within the next week to 2 weeks, or it could happen right over here. You've got to have a plan for both. But we're very close, guys. We're very close.
Okay, so this 4-hour, based on your Ichimoku, based on your cloud, so how would you ideally, so let's just say if this has to see continuation, have you made any observation, like how would you ideally like to see this candle close, like inside the cloud, or like even just getting supported on the Tenkin?
No, it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. So there are two ways this could usually play out. Usually, you could see a move to the top of the cloud, maybe even to the 200 moving average, and then close underneath the 200 moving average, right? But since the 200 moving average is so far away from the cloud, I'd be expecting a move to the top of the cloud, maybe close somewhere above it. But then, if that happened, I'd be looking for a high low over here, somewhere into the middle of the cloud, and then drift from the side of the cloud, right? But now that price has come back down to test the Tenkin, this is a lot healthier, right? So what I'd be expecting now is a price to drift this way and break out of the side of the cloud, and then we make our move. You're looking for essentially around $116,000 to get tested, maybe a wick into $117,000, and then a high low somewhere around here. If we get that right, that's your trade. That's your trade on Bitcoin, essentially coming in at this level. So you don't want to just let price dictate, or rather volatility dictate what you do. You want to start using it to start getting mentally ready for the next move, provided things play out the way you want it to. Because now think about this, guys. Look at what we have essentially drawn over here without realizing it. We formed a plan as to what you expect price to do, right? A lot of pattern traders are going to say, hey, that's an inverted head and shoulders, because you're going to see something like that, right? That's how price is going to unfold. Because if you see price do this,
yeah, I think so.
Right?
I think it's a head and shoulders.
And then you have your falling channel into inverted head and shoulders, into your TK play, TK cross right over here, into your edge to edge. Everything plays out, right? And you're getting ready to play that high confluence play based on every kind of traders pattern. So you have your trend traders, your Ichimoku traders, and your pattern traders all coming at the same time. That's what you want. You don't want to be right. You want everyone to be looking at the same high probability play so that the buying power overwhelms the selling power.
Exactly. Yusuf, okay, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that, but he says, me freaking out, Sean, healthier. So yeah, Sean's really, really cool. It's like the volatility picked up on this most recent 4-hour candle. But I think even just by looking at the Ichimoku, I don't think this is much to worry about right now. It just appears that, like, if you really look at it, right, bird's eye view, even on the 4-hour time frame, guys, this looks like it's just going to establish a higher low on this entire trend that it's trying to put in. I think any sort of close back inside the cloud is going to be a really, really good look for Bitcoin. This looks like it's coming in to put in that higher low. Wolvie says he's got bids waiting.
So where are your bids, Wolvie? Kishore, what are your thoughts on price action at the moment? You were presenting something really cool for the community in regards to the altcoins. I think they'd be really happy.
You guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna friggin' love this. Okay, so first, I'm gonna get back on my chart, Sean.
Yeah.
And of course, I want you guys to start like chiming in, get into the comments, get into the chat, and tell me what you guys think. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys like the bird's eye view of what it is that I'm looking at. Bitcoin, as you guys know, it is, well, I look at it as the index, not just me. A lot of people look at it as the index of the cryptosphere. It's done really, really well in helping us understand when does the bull market start in earnest and when does the bear market start in earnest. Right now, one key sort of signature that I'm seeing over here, Sean, this is like sort of played out really, really well, is that on the weekly time frame, like zoom out, okay, ever since the bull market started, there's been this like this one sort of it's, I don't want to call it a pattern. I'm sort of skipping my words right now. For the lack of a better word, let's just call it a signature. Every time Bitcoin loses the weekly 10 simple moving average, it comes down to test the biweekly dynamic. The weekly or the biweekly dynamic. You're always like really, you're always rewarded for placing your bids on those levels, okay? Just to wait on that dip into the dynamic support. So now, for instance, we had several. Just go back in time. For those of you who have the Mango Dynamic Indicator, go ahead, switch it on, put on your 10 simple moving average. Every single time Bitcoin is actually sort of broken that dynamic, the 10 simple moving average support, it's come down to give the weekly dynamic or even the biweekly dynamic a very clear test, giving you an excellent bid. And it's the same thing right here. We lost the 10 simple, Sean, and we've come back down to test that weekly dynamic support. Now, I'm going to keep this very simple. I say the bulls are back in control, like entirely in control, as soon as we start actually living over that 10 simple moving average. Okay, right now this comes in at around $114,000. And I think this has confluence with some of the, well, the seedlings looking at the same levels. 114K, I'm saying bulls back in control. Okay, now here's where the amazing part really comes to play. And this is something that I've been bringing up in the daily videos, and I want to get your thoughts as well on it. Okay. Now, as many of you guys know, I've been looking at the alts, still invested in the alts, and I'm looking at this index that's helped us understand when we actually get into altcoin season. Right. So the index that I'm looking at is total 2. Okay. Now, I think I brought this up in the previous, in my previous live stream as well. So total 2 is basically total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. Okay, total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. I'm looking at this chart specifically on the monthly time frame for those of you wondering. Okay, specifically on the monthly time frame. I have like this entire thing right here. Okay, cool beans. So I'm looking for a recipe. Okay, for me to understand if we're finally heading into altcoin season, I'm looking for this recipe. I need both the ingredients here. Okay, the first ingredient, Sean, I'm looking at is Bitcoin dominance. Okay, I want to see Bitcoin dominance in a downtrend. All right, so question is Bitcoin dominance in a downtrend right now? Let's actually get on over to that chart quickly. Okay, let's get on to the weekly time frame. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. It looks like a friggin' waterfall, right? But let's also go ahead and put on the dynamic while we're at it. Okay, so now this is it. It held the dynamic through much of the cycle. Sean, if you're looking at this, held the dynamic through much of the cycle. Now, you already know you've been sort of keeping up with Bitcoin dominance. But you can see that, okay, it's currently in a downtrend. So as far as our recipe is concerned, we already have one ingredient in there. Now, the second ingredient is something we have not got at all until recently, right? Which is total 2, basically this chart right here, being basically breaking out of its previous all-time high. Okay, now in all the altcoin, all seasons that we've had so far back, dating back to 2017, it's only when we got that Well, we actually saw this chart break out of its previous all-time high. Did we actually see the 2017 altcoin cycle begin? And it was the same thing in 2021. It's only when this chart right here broke out of its all-time high that the 2021 cycle began. Now here is, well, this year, okay, right now. Question is, has this chart, has Total 2 ever broke out of that previous all-time high that was established back in 2021? Right? We got one tap here, which was back in November, yeah, when the markets went crazy, the altcoins rather went crazy, right? We only tapped that region of resistance, but failed to break out, okay? Failed to break out. However, this time around, okay, I'm just gonna zoom in. Okay, this is what we have right now. So my question, so now the main thing, and it's like, it's so classic crypto, right? It's something I brought up in the mastermind call as well. I'm like, it's so classic crypto to give you the breakout, but just not with conviction, not with enough conviction for you to be like, okay, all season, let's go. Like, you know, so this, in my opinion, is a close over that region of resistance. But question is, would you look at this as a breakout, right? So yeah, I want to know what everyone's thoughts are on this price action right here. Sean, what do you think?
What are your thoughts? Like, you've presented this breakout to us. What are your thoughts?
The thing is that I'm not going to look at this in isolation, right? I don't want to, and I'm going to always implore you guys to not look at things in isolation. If I'm looking at this chart, in addition to, well, how the altcoins are holding across their levels right now, I'm saying that this is an actual breakout. So that's how I'm looking at it. Because if the altcoins actually lost, so we're looking at some of the mainstays, we're looking at how Ethereum is performing, which is holding up really, really well. We're looking at how XRP is performing, which is also holding up really well compared to its cyclicals. I was looking at XLM the other day. We've been covering Cardano. So if I'm just looking across the board at all of the altcoins, even Pengu that I covered today, these charts are looking good. Yes, they've all pulled back. Yes, they're in these 45-day consolidations, but they've not lost levels. Right? They're still catching a bid. They're catching a bid while this chart is broken out, while Bitcoin dominance is in a downtrend, while Bitcoin is still within its bull run parameters. So I'm saying if there's any time where we actually get like this symphony of all the indices, all the price action flowing together to give the alts that boost, I think it's now. So if you really have to look at the holistic picture, the way I'm looking at this, Sean, I'm looking at this as a signal for the alts. However, that being said, I want to sort of go back to what Sean has been basically talking about, in that invest in strength. Okay, you always want to be looking for strength, and I think this is going to apply more in this cycle than any other cycle, because what you guys need to understand is that the altcoins, if you look at like the basket of altcoins, that basket has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger with every cycle. Now, what does that mean? It means that when new market participants enter with their fresh money, okay, it's back in 2017, maybe they had 100 coins to invest in. Then that 100 grew to 1,000 in 2021, which has now grown to 10,000 in 2025. Right? So now there's just more to invest in. So that money, that capital that comes in, sort of gets spread. And because it gets spread across, I feel like it goes back to the diminishing returns, but also that when people come into the market and I see so many coins, now, of course, tell me what you guys think. Sean, you tell me what you think. But if you are a new market participant and you see just so many things to invest in, you're like, screw this. It's like analysis paralysis, like complete absolute decision fatigue here, right? So people don't want to deal with that hassle. What they'll end up doing is just sort of putting their capital into something that's already running and something that already has the hype on it, right? Which is where I think that this altcoin season, the winners are going to keep winning. You know, because before it was always like, hey, XYZ coin hasn't moved, let me get in on this coin. I don't think that's going to play out too well. I don't think people are going to get rewarded for that behavior as they were rewarded back in 2021 and 2017. Right? So as far as I'm going to jump in on the laggard because I think it's very, very low and I think it's going to rally. I don't think that's going to work out. Back to Sean's point, I think it's the winners that are going to keep winning this time around.
Yeah, I think you articulated all of that really, really well. When there are too many options, people tend to pick the easiest option, which is what's running. Yeah, I wanna answer this question first that we have in the chat, but before we do that, I wanna just make things a bit easy for people moving forward. Okay, and this doesn't pertain to just crypto. You could use it for any investment in your life. In fact, you could use it for investment of your time as well, as to where you are looking to study, where you want to work, etc., etc. Okay, if you're trying to decide on what to do, what to invest, etc., etc., you can keep the next 10 years of your life as simple as this. I'm going to try to articulate this idea to the best of my ability. When in doubt, look for scarcity. Okay, I know that sounds simplified, but you have to create a perimeter around all of your options in regards to scarcity. A really good example that may apply for all of you trying to decide on altcoins. I'm not. You guys might be thinking, "Oh, he's going back onto the Bitcoin thingy," and I'm not, because people think scarcity. They're thinking gold. They're thinking Bitcoin. Let's say you don't have those options. Bitcoin dominance is dumping, right? You don't want to be getting into Bitcoin and other coins are looking strong. You want to ask yourself, okay, I need to make my life easy. How do I do this? Okay, Sean had a guiding principle, which was look for scarcity. Okay, cool. What is scarce at the moment? What is scarce at the moment in this market? What is scarce? You guys may have completely different answers to this compared to me, but something that comes very, very, very intuitively to me is how many assets qualify for institutional investors and TradFi investors to be able to funnel their liquidity into because of XYZ reasons, and there's only so many, right? Compared to the amount of altcoins that are there that are available to all of them, okay, to all of us. So there is no scarcity of altcoins compared to the scarcity of the amount of coins that fit the narrative to qualify for this whole treasury asset narrative, right? Digital treasury asset narrative, whatever you want to call it. So there's only going to be a few that can do it right now at this phase of the market, this early phase of the market, not early anymore, but this phase, this inflection point that can fit that narrative with a straight face of, okay, you know what? We're going to put Solana as a treasury asset. We're going to put Ethereum as a treasury asset on our balance sheets. So there's only so many coins that can fit that narrative. So now you've drawn a perimeter around this thesis of, I think so-and-so coins are scarce because only they fit this narrative. Now you could have a different thesis. You could have something for NFTs. You could have something for memes. You could have something for L1s. Which L1s are going to have XYZ criteria in terms of adoption, etc. But look for that scarcity, because in that scarcity, you are inevitably going to narrow down the coins that are strong. Okay, it's not like a hard and fast rule, but it's going to make your life a lot simpler. This is going to apply, by the way, even when pertaining to your career. Which field do I study, right? I mean, back when I got into computer science, etc., mathematics, it wasn't everyone who was jumping into it. Now everyone's jumping into it, and that scarcity aspect of it is not as strong as it was back when I went into that field. And similarly, when pertaining to investing, you can adopt the same principles. So yeah, look for scarcity when you're trying to decide which altcoins you want to get into.
I love that. I feel like that's going to apply to, like you said.
And I'm not talking about scarcity of the asset, by the way, guys. I'm scarcity of how many people are going to go into it. It's a different mindset. I'm sorry to interrupt, Krisha, but if everyone's jump into something, you're not. There's no scarcity. You want to be there before it turns into abundant of options, right? That's when the market tops. So there's only one Bitcoin, so that's going to stay. scarce forever. But then how many assets can qualify under L1 and treasury asset at the moment other than Bitcoin? Well, you have your Sols, you have your Ethereums, you have maybe Sui. I think Sui is an L1. I've been trading it all year. I have no idea what it is. I'm pretty sure it's an L1, and it could qualify as one of the assets that people put on their treasury on their balance sheet as a treasury asset, and that alone makes it easier to get into. Right, you don't have to like build a narrative for it other than what it is. It's being bought by XYZ. So yeah.
That's a really good framework. Thank you, Sean. Also, Sturdy says makes a lot of sense. Yeah, when you look at it through that lens, right? I think this could be sort of applied to like everything. Yeah. There's the scarcity mindset. No, but like look for scarcity in when you are looking to get into something or build conviction around something.
Siddharth Mishra, how's it going, Sid? It's been a while. How are you, buddy? Siddharth Mishra in the chat says, Sean, you gave me the same advice. I had a phone call conversation with Siddharth back in the day. And he says right here, you gave me the same advice back in 2020. And since then, I've been more in Bitcoin. I'm in Bitcoin more than happy. Yeah. So think about it, guys. Back in 2020, I was getting a lot of folk telling me, hey, why should I get into Bitcoin? It's so expensive. It's already at $5,000. You know, there's so-and-so coin is still at cents. Why should I get into Bitcoin? It doesn't have any upside potential anymore, right? It's already as high as it can be. 5,000 is so expensive, 10,000 so expensive. Well, today, guys, we're sitting at $110,000, right? So the thing is, there's no upper limit when there's demand for something that is scarce. There's no upper limit. You know why? Because the denominator has no upper limit. If the denominator has no upper limit, then the asset is not going to have any upper limit because they're going to keep debasing. And the wealthy, to protect their wealth from getting debased and them losing their purchasing power, they're going to look for assets that are scarce and are in demand, right? Because they know that demand is what's going to help them. It doesn't, you know what? F the fundamentals, F the fact that you guys think it's a dinosaur coin. It doesn't matter. The only fundamentals that matters is that there's scarcity and there's demand. Okay, that alone is reflexive. That's the only fundamentals that matter. On top of that, if these people actually can look into the fundamentals of the coin and convince themselves that, you know what, there's legitimacy behind this, that's enough, right? So they can look into the fundamentals of Bitcoin, understand proof of work, understand the consensus, understand the hash rate. They can look into all of that. They look into it just a tad bit. At the end of the day, they just need to look into it just a bit to convince themselves that everyone else's demand is valid. And that demand alone, because other people want it, makes them want it. And because they want it too now, other people want it. And because these other people want it, other people want it. And there's only 21 million, right? It's reflexive. And this will continue until people don't want it anymore. And people are not going to want it anymore only when we actually have a complete restructuring of the financial system. We have debasement and inflation at the same time. When all of that is done, okay, complete restructuring of debts and a remonetization of a new asset, that's when all of this will stop. Until then, stay the course. Okay, I'll stop here. Sorry.
You guys just got a crash course on the only lesson in economics that actually makes you money. That's the lesson in economics that makes you money, in case you guys were not paying attention. Also, Story says no upper limit because the dollar has no floor. Precisely.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's what he meant by the denominator is broken, pretty much. Denominator is non-existent. And also, guys, if you want to learn from Sean, I mean, look at him. Look at the way his mind just works. If you guys want to learn from Sean, now is a good time because it's his birthday, and every birthday we have sales season. All of the coupons are going to be live. Sean's birthday coupon is going to be live today for the next week, 2 weeks maybe. We haven't decided yet, but applicable, of course, on the seed program led by Sean and all the indicators out there. So go ahead and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and put on my screen right here. There we go. The coupon code is BDAY2025. Wow. Not bad, eh? That was a quick coupon. B-Day 2025, guys. I think now we can get on over to sorry.
I said, come join the fam, the seed fam, guys.
Absolutely.
If you're wondering whether you should be getting the indicator or the seed program, definitely get the seed program. Don't even think about it. It's cheaper, and in my opinion, gonna benefit you for the rest of your life.
Every indicator is going to be that much more powerful.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, I think we can get on over to some of the alts right now, if you guys are done. I did cover Pengu in a different sort of daily update. I just got so many requests on it. I've never covered it before on a daily, but this is the first time, so go ahead and check it out for those who are actually interested in that particular meme coin. With that now, we can jump on over to XRP. I always get guilty when I do not cover the coins that I actually have on the title. So XRP on the list. Let's actually start with the dashboard first. XRP... Okie dokes. So now as far as okay, not bad. We're getting a bit of a trend switch right here. 4-hour guys flipped long 2 hours ago. Nice. Okay, so we got a bullish trend flip on the 4-hour time frame. Volatility very, very healthy, telling me that the bulls actually have some juice left in them to take this up further. What you want to see here on the dashboard, guys, for those of you who have alerts set on XRP, you want to see this long bullish trend cascade on over to the 12-hour, on over to the daily, so on and so forth. Okay, so look for that. And there we go. Can you guys hear my timer, by the way? Or is that just me?
I can't hear it.
Okay, well, it's just me then. So yeah, my timer went off. I'm timing this. Okay, cool. So let's get on over to XRP very quickly. You guys know the drill, what it is that I'm looking at through a cyclical standpoint. I'm looking at the weekly dynamic support, guys. It's kept us on the right side of every bull and every bear market so far. Why fade it? Okay, in fact, I got kicked out. I got partially kicked out of my XRP trade, and it was the dynamic that got me back in as soon as we managed to reclaim it once again. All right, and I was better off for getting back in. All right, so once again, the way I'm going to be looking at this, I'm keeping XRP very simple. We start closing over that 10 simple moving average right there, okay? I'm looking at that, so that comes in around $2.96. Can round up to 3. This covers multiple birds in one stone, okay? We reclaim the 10 simple moving average. We also break out of that entire position manager zone right there, telling us that, okay, bullish momentum is picking up in earnest. All right. And more importantly, we're also clearing out the breakdown point, because notice XRP had a breakdown point right here, right? For those of you watching right here, that was the breakdown point, came in at around $2.95. We start clearing out those levels, okay? We're suddenly living over that breakdown point, which is good. It's showing excessive bullish momentum right there, at which point I'll be looking for XRP to actually go ahead and tap the highs and probably even higher from then. All right, so keep it as simple as this. You're looking for $2, say closing over $3, off to the races. All right, so the next one that I have on the title, I believe, Sean, is it ADA? Is it Sol? I don't know. I think it's none. I have Bitcoin
It's none.
XRP. I guess we can call it a day.
We can wrap up right here. And then you hit your timer, right? Did the timer go off too?
It did. It did.
Okay, we can do
XLM. And guys, don't forget, by the way, the BitUnix bonus is back. All right. Link in the description below. You can only get the bonus if you use the link, of course. You're essentially getting $400 back for free to trade with for a $2,000 deposit. What is this going to help with? I don't know. For those of you who've been like freaking trading, let's just go back to XRP, for instance. Let's just say you take a trade on the weekly dynamic support, okay? And the trade goes against you, right? Trade goes against you. What happens here in this instance, okay, when you have these bonuses at your disposal, when you lose, you're not losing your money. You're losing the house's money. That $400 that you get for free, you're going to be losing that first. Okay, now that is if you lose. On the flip side, say you caught a sick bid. Okay, you caught an amazing bid. Price rallies in your favor. What does that do to your position? You've actually managed to add extra to your position, which means that position is a lot more profitable than it would have otherwise been. Okay, so take advantage of those bonuses, guys. They don't come in too often. So when you see them, grab them. And of course, there are some pretty cool prizes if you're aggressively trading right now. So go ahead and check it out. Of course, link in the description below. So now this is XRP. Let's get into XLM quickly. You know, I don't know how many of you guys. Okay, I don't want to just like go off on like a tangent here, but have you guys looked at TRX, by the way? Check out that chart. Your jaw is just gonna drop. But okay, XLM right here, we have a 4-hour trend flip. Okay, this came in 2 hours ago. Notice now, by the way, notice these altcoins actually flipping, Sean.
I mean, no, come on, man.
Why not?
Are you kidding me? It's freaking red across the board.
It's okay right now, but we're looking for some sort of bullish momentum. It's gonna always start from your lower time frames. You're never gonna see it like pop, like you know, it's a gradual sort of shift. So why can't it turn on the lower time frames and then give you that boost on the higher time frames?
I'm not saying that it can't. What I'm trying to say is that it's okay. It's just like what I said with Bitcoin in yesterday's C Clubhouse session. If you go on to Bitcoin as an example, right? Just put on the dashboard, Krisha, if you don't mind. And you look at the drop down for Bitcoin. It's not giving you it's basically, sometimes it's fine to just say, I'm going to set out this asset. Okay. And now you drop down Ethereum. And you're going to see the difference. Okay. That's what you guys want to see. And we don't want to force things. This is when I keep saying buy strength. And you guys know I'm a Bitcoin bull, but we need to know when to say, okay, you know what? Let's just wait. Until then, I have only so much attention, equity. I don't want to get exhausted forcing something on Bitcoin or XLM or etc. I'm gonna watch it and wait, but we shouldn't ignore like so much red on it and the one green, right? Bitcoin at least has some gray on it and one green. But look at Ethereum. That's so nice. Look at BNB. Okay, guys, if you're not going to use the dashboard for what you're supposed to use it for, just don't use it. This is what you're supposed to use it for colors. Like I spent so much time on the colors. I mean, not me, me and the team.
I think you're. So the thing is that when I'm looking at these coins, I'm trying to sort of break it down in terms of. That's why I started off with the XRP chart first, right? Okay. I looked at that trend, but I'm also starting off with the XRP chart primarily because, well, I'm giving you that upper threshold as to when things are likely going to really start turning bullish in earnest. Right, and it's here at past $2.96. I'm not saying it's going to turn bullish right now, right here. Watch this freaking go up and break 296. Right. I'm just saying that okay, this is the upper threshold. I'm looking for price to clear for me to then get bullish, right? But in the meanwhile, you want to see that gradual turn. When is price turning? And I think the dashboard gives you a good sort of idea on that, right? So that cascade of trend. Now, I'm not even saying that okay, let's ignore the rest of the bearish trends and let's just focus on the bullish ones. Okay, right now, 4-hour, yeah, okay, bullish. Now, what you want to see ideally is to see this long trend cascade on over to the 12-hour time frame. It's giving you something to look towards. Okay, what do you look for next, rather? Let's put it that way. What should you be looking for next? Right? Should you be happy with this, content with, 4-hour flip long, let's jump in, let's just ape into this? No, don't do that, of course. Right? But this is what you look for. You've started off with a 4-hour long trend. You want to see this now cascade. Can it cascade? Well, if you have a good, healthy volatility reading, yes, it can.
Yeah.
Right? And also, if it's sitting on like macro support, if there's any place where the bulls could start picking up some steam, could start coming in with the buys, it's going to be on those regions of support. So these things to look towards, and also helps you understand when is it time. Right? If it was all short right now, I'm like, okay, well, it's not time, clearly, not yet.
Yeah, I agree. So right. When you're looking for something to flip, the initial momentum starts on the 4 and the 12-hour. The way I like to look at it is that if we don't have the weekly green, then the 4 hour is not enough, right? I need the 12-hour at the very least. Right? The 4 hour, honestly, because you'll just get chopped up, right? Mm-hmm. The weekly needs to be green, so you have that sandwich momentum at the very least between the 4 hour and the 12 and the weekly. So, for example, let's say your weekly is green, and then the 4 hour flips green as well. Okay, then when the 12-hour flips, you have that sandwich. You can actually play it to the upside because the high time frame trend is still in your favor, and the 4 hour momentum has given you that initial get ready, and then the 12-hour starts being important.
Yeah.
So that's how I like to look at it. But if you're maybe you guys are just more aggressive than I am. I'm getting old. I'm not as risky as you guys, but yeah.
101 Cambodia says, "Good
I,
husband, guys. Watch this man and learn."
I wanna touch on something else that he said. 101 Cambodia says, guys, I hear what S is saying. S is me, by the way, guys. What S is saying about scarcity, but why are we talking about coins like ADA? Why are we talking about coins like ADA, XLM, and XRP, which are absolute money dumps on retail, which have already run? Okay, so I initially misread your question. I thought you thought that I was referring to ADA, XLM, and XRP as scarce coins. I from what I understand, and this is just my understanding, institutions aren't looking at XRP and ADA as treasury assets yet. Okay, at the moment, the attention seems to be on Ethereum, Sol, and Bitcoin. So I was referring to that. But you're not asking about that anyways. You're talking about why are those coins covered at all? Again, like, guys, if there's opportunity for you to make more of your favorite coin, it doesn't matter whether that be XRP, whether that be SUI, whether that be I don't know what SUI is about at all, but it has given me an opportunity to stack far more Bitcoin, right? You guys got to be completely unbiased and don't have these strong, when it comes to trading, don't have any of these strong biases towards not talking about XYZ coin at all. Like, a meme coin could be running really hard. It's your duty. I don't say duty, but you'd be fiduciarily responsible to yourself to be able to go and take advantage of that trend, that clear, easy trend, to stack more of your coin, right? You have a duty to your community, your Bitcoin community, your Cardano community, whatever community you've chosen, to accumulate as much as you can, because you have long-term belief in it, right? So you are going to be a long-term holder. You're going to have diamond hands. And your duty to the community is to accumulate as much as you can, because you have strong hands. You don't want to keep it in weak hands. So the more you get for yourself, the better, right? So use whatever other coin out there that is running really well. You identify a good trend, clear, easy trend that you can trade. Do it. Doesn't matter whether it's XRP and you hate the coin. Doesn't matter whether it's Bitcoin and you hate the coin. Use Bitcoin to collect Cardano. Use XRP to collect Bitcoin. Use Bitcoin to collect XRP. It doesn't matter. Stick to your own beliefs. I'm not here to preach to you guys, but this is what I will preach to you guys. Trade everything. Trade everything.
I'm just going through the comments. SUI is arguably the best yield farming experience. Did you know that, Sean?
SUI has the best yield farming experience. Nope, I don't follow any of that. I don't need yield on crypto. I don't see the reason to. But
already
if it's done safely, like, if you, yeah, it's to each their own. But I don't like locking up liquidity, and maybe SUI doesn't need you to lock up liquidity. I don't know anything about it. So.
101 Cambodia says, I hear you, and this is also pertinent to the difference between traders and investors. He's responding to your
yeah. So I trade all these. I trade most of these coins. I invest only in Bitcoin because I don't know about any of these coins to invest in them.
I like this. I think that was a really good segment. I think that's important to be, and I think people sort of do it without really knowing that they're doing it. You know, so it's always good to be sort of cognizant of the action that you're taking and why you're taking that action.
Yep.
Because you can start being a lot more optimal with yourself. XLM, guys, that previous weekly looks like trash. So yeah, while the 4-hour, like, you'd ideally want to see, let's go back to XLM trend. Sorry, I'm just going to go through because my timer has gone off. Like, we are well past time. I'm just going to go there quickly. So right now, yeah, we have one long signal, but ideally you want to see this cascade. We don't have that just yet. Okay, so this is something to watch out for. Can it? Volatility is saying 27. So yeah, we could start seeing a pick me up. That said, would you get overly bullish here? No. What I want to see though from XLM, keep it as simple as damn. Honestly, just you want to look at that weekly candle. That looks like an ugly weekly candle. We actually close underneath. No, I cannot say this. I cannot say it without being irresponsible. So no. Weekly looks bad. It's a bad look. If this candle of this weekly candle closes underneath the dynamic support, we're actually coming down to the bottom of the zone at 32 cents. Is that worth a short opportunity? It's not bad actually. 8% for those of you who like the small sort of swings could be worth it. But I think I totally see 32 cents being tapped. And that was a part of the bid zone that I presented to you guys on the daily video as well, right? So I'll be looking at the same zone once again.
Actually, XM could just be, I think we're looking at the wrong time frame. Maybe XM's to be played on the monthly. And if you're trading XLM on the monthly, then the dashboard doesn't cover the monthly, right? So the monthly is kind of difficult too.
That's a bad monthly though.
Yeah, because I have a zone here. I'm gonna quickly.
PNR 1989. Yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of people resonate with your thought there.
Which thought is that, my man?
Says, bro, when is the Lambo gonna arrive? This is draining.
So Isaac has a question. Sean, what are your thoughts on RWA on Ethereum? First, in regards to the assets, I don't know which assets are considered real world assets on Ethereum, and how can this be a catalyst for ETH itself? The catalyst for ETH is a story being formulated, the story catching hype, and the asset running before the hype is actually before the hype sees the light of day, right? That's you don't care about whether it's real or not. What matters is whether people are going to believe it being a possibility, right? Because people are going to express their excitement on the charts. I honestly don't have an opinion. I don't think it matters. You for example, let's say you are sensing that there's a narrative coming up for real world assets on Ethereum. This is my opinion. I'll tell you what my thoughts are. My thoughts are something that's actionable. Make a list of all these assets on TradingView, color it your favorite color, and keep an eye on it, and look to see whether on each dump that Bitcoin has, how those assets perform. On each pump, each pump that Bitcoin has, how those assets perform compared to what Ethereum is doing itself, right? Don't try to be a smart ass. Just be like, oh, whoa, this coin is actually reacting better than Ethereum, better than Bitcoin on each of these moves. This narrative is picking up steam. That's all. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not, right? People believe it's true. The market believes it's true. You're not looking to invest in this for like 5-10 years. So the market being wrong in the long term doesn't matter. All that matters is the market being right now, because you're going to use it to collect your favorite asset, whatever that is. So watch it and play it for the short term. And yeah, just that's how you play this.
Like that. Okay, time to wrap. And before we wrap, now of course in the next live stream I'll be taking more altcoin requests, or more coin requests, or whatever it is that you guys want to talk about next. But before I basically sign out, before we sign out, I think this is something that Sean brought up. Fear and Greed Index currently, Sean, sitting at 41, which is neutral. If you're looking at the entire sort of let's say meter right here, neutral, leaning bearish. Now, this is something, props to Sean for sort of bringing this up to my attention. But he's like, the last time Bitcoin was at that neutral zone, that was June 21st, June 22nd, June 21st. If you just sort of go through the timeline with that, June 21st. That was the last time, Sean, that we actually rallied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I think each time we've come down to that level, it's been a high probability buy. Not, of course, it's never a certainty, but it's been a high, as long as it's a bull market, it's been a high probability buy.
Yeah. So that's going to be this is something to definitely watch out for. And a lot of people, you know, Sean's been talking about this and that. How often do markets turn when sentiment is fearful, right? So these are things to sort of, these are notes to sort of think about. And yeah, I wanted to sort of leave you guys off with these charts. So if there are any questions that you guys have, leave them in, well, get into the Discord chat. I was going to say leave them in the comment section, but hey, one better, get into the Discord chat. There's a live conversation happening in there. You're going to find it on themangleway.com/Discord. Cool beans.
Apparently, one of the coupon doesn't work. So let me just try to open up the chat. I lost the chat and I can't see. Okay, right over here.
And guys, one more last thing. Tomorrow is Sean's birthday. Wish him, please, a very, very happy birthday. This guy has poured his heart into everything that he's done for you guys. So yeah, make him feel special. Mr. Mango, good morning, good morning, good morning.
You guys make me feel special every single day. You guys don't need to do anything. You just need to show up. That's all you guys need to do. Honestly, that's all.
101 Komodo, it's like, happy 21st. You the man.
Really? I look that old, man? I'm turning 19. Yeah. So Krisha, the coupons aren't working, eh? Just make sure that.
Okay, so I'll fix the coupons as soon as
I hate that feeling too when I get an email from. It happened recently. I was trying to buy a coat, and there was supposed to be a coupon that's supposed to be working. And this is what happened. The coupon went into my cart thingy, right? And then I just went back to check the size to ensure I got the right size. And I came back and it was gone. I was so upset. And you know what? After that, I was like, it ruined the purchase for me. I'm just like, holy shit. I just don't want to buy this now. It's something so tiny. It can ruin the experience. Did you guys ever go through that? I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Okay.
Maybe just me.
Someone is doing the experience. I'll fix it, guys. I'll fix it. As soon as it's done, I'll fix it. It's going to be live on all the indicators,
Yes, guys,
all the
thank you
reports,
for
and
the
everything.
wishes.
Thank you all for tuning in today. Yeah, jump into the Discord chat. We will now see you guys in there.
And thank you, Diglets. Diglets is always here. Love the guy.
Oh.
Do you guys have times to look at shitbacks? Dude, it's shit. That's, you know it is, man. You know it is. Okay, I'm going to quickly look at it just for Diglets because he's always here. But I'm not expecting it.
The Bollywood Hulk Hogan of trading. I love that.
It's honestly,
like
man.
An emoji.
You know what, Diglets? I'm gonna give you this. So you can just draw in a horizontal.
Wait. Are you sharing your chart right now?
No, I'm not. Do you want me to?
Okay,
I'll share
it's up to you.
Yeah. Go. You know, it's up to you to share it, right? You have control. You're like the emperor.
Yeah, no. So I need you to. You need to tell me.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Share. Okay. I think I'm looking.
Okay, there we go.
It's AVAX, right? Okay, yeah, there you go. So there's a few things going on over here. Like the monthly is not looking all that good, right? There's no like trade on the monthly over here. But these past 2 months have kind of been drifting to the upside. When you look at this structure here, though, you do have something. So I don't want to like just dismiss it anymore as a shit trade because we do have something very clear here. Clear horizontal rounding formation, and over here you have what you could call an ascending or symmetrical triangle, right? So now this could lead to something. So just keep an eye on this. If it starts closing candles above like 26, there could be a trade to the top of the range here. 53, that's a 2x move. So if you have a bag of this, you got to evaluate whether it's worth the opportunity cost. If you're looking to enter the trade, I would do so only around here, right? Because this could smack up, come back down. This could do that forever. Yeah. There's another way to trade it. If you remember, I've been talking to you guys about the zone over here that you can start building your initial position partial. I'd get P1 out of 3. So divide your P by 3 and get on P1 over here and then 2 and 3 up. So yeah, that's all. You want to play this diagonal too. Take profits because there's probably like a bull flag being formed over here. You're beginning to see it. Yeah, there you go. Right, you guys see it now. W flag into this range here, diagonal. This breaks up. Then you can keep adding. Then you have resistance over here too. All right. Don't force it though. Cheers. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you, I am Bumblebee. Thank you for all of the amazing, encouraging words, guys. We'll now see you guys in the Discord chat with this. Trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao, you guys.